the false promise of the so-called health benefits, a carefully spun fairy tale that crumbles under real scrutiny. See, one of the alcohol industry's favourite ways of gaslighting the public is a massive disinformation campaign regarding the so-called health benefits of low-level alcohol consumption. According to this narrative, while drinking too much is harmful, the opposite is true for lower levels of consumption, namely 1 or 2 drinks a day. Here, alcohol is supposedly healthy, primarily by protecting the heart and cardiovascular system in general. Some researchers even claim that this so-called cardioprotective effect is so strong that light drinkers have lower all-cause mortality compared to non-drinkers. On the face of it, this appears very implausible. How can a toxic industrial chemical like ethanol have these almost magical cardioprotective properties? And listen, do you think it's a coincidence that these magical properties only apply to the one toxic industrial chemical that is directly sold for human consumption? Of course, there's no coincidence here. The alcohol industry is massively involved in the funding of scientific research, including research on the health effects of alcohol. And it's this massive influx of funds that's largely responsible for sustaining these myths. And listen, another factor is that people who drink, the public themselves, they are eager to buy up any such story. So the media happily promote this. The cold hard truth is this: you will not benefit your heart or longevity one bit by consuming alcohol, regardless of the quantity. I can assure you that you will only damage your heart along with most other organs. And not to scare you, but this damage can start from the very first sip of your very first drink. Having said that, it is a fact that many research studies, often those funded by the alcohol industry, do indeed find that light drinkers have slightly better cardiovascular health than non-drinkers. So how can we actually explain this? Well, it all has to do with who you compare light drinkers to. Most people in society drink, at least socially, and comparing them to people who don't drink at all is not a fair test, because many in these latter group are often unable to drink precisely on account of underlying health conditions. In other words, their doctor will have forbidden them from drinking due to one or more pre-existing medical conditions. The group of complete abstainers also contains many former heavy drinkers who now don't drink precisely because alcohol has already wrecked their health. So when you adjust for these so-called abstainer biases, the cardioprotective benefits of alcohol disappear completely. This has been shown in the medical literature time and time again, and most recently in 2023. That's when we got the results of a massive meta-analysis that pulled data from over 100 separate studies. Collectively, these studies involved a whopping 4.8 million participants. After correcting for abstainer bias and various other sources of error, the researchers were able to unequivocally establish that light alcohol consumption offers no longevity benefits whatsoever.